As you all know, I made a request today for what we were calling a gag order, and I'm not going to walk out of court and do anything other than
listen to everybody, but you believe all proof.
Believe the facts.
This video is proof.
Y'all, you guys won't believe what happened in court today. Diddy Combs, yes, the Diddy, looked absolutely unrecognizable as he shuffled into that New York courtroom. Can you imagine? The man who once commanded red carpets and global stages now looks completely defeated. His prison jumpsuit was hanging off him, and that scruffy gray beard, I barely recognized him. Gone was that polished image we all knew from Bad Boy Records. Instead, standing there was just a shell of the man, visibly worn down by months behind bars. The difference is honestly shocking. It's like watching the ultimate fall from grace happening right before our eyes.
Today, just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to...
The tension in that courtroom was absolutely palpable. His family, his mother Janice and his children sat there trying to keep it together, their faces a heartbreaking mix of concern and strength. When Diddy walked in, he managed a faint smile toward them and blew this two-handed kiss. Honestly, it was the only warm moment in an otherwise ice-cold proceeding. But that brief moment of connection couldn't distract from the absolute gravity crushing down on everyone. These latest allegations, they're painting an absolutely devastating picture of a man who allegedly used his power in the most troubling ways imaginable. Even though Diddy has denied everything, this latest chapter is just making his legal nightmare even more complex.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
The courtroom literally erupted in whispers when they started revealing the new claims. I'm telling you, these allegations go way beyond personal stuff now. We're talking about claims that employees under Diddy's command were subjected to extreme conditions. Can you believe it? Working crazy long hours in what's being described as an atmosphere of complete intimidation. And that's not even the worst part. Prosecutors are suggesting some were pressured into doing things way outside their job descriptions. The tension in that room was so thick you could cut it with a knife while Diddy just stood there, completely motionless, his face impossible to read. What was going through his mind? Only he knows.
This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly.
And just when you thought it couldn't get any more explosive, that viral surveillance video from 2016 has thrown gasoline on this already raging fire. Everyone's seen it by now. That disturbing footage showing what looks like Diddy chasing Cassie Ventura down a hotel hallway, grabbing her and getting physically aggressive. The video absolutely shocked people when it hit social media, and it's completely reignited all those conversations about power dynamics in celebrity relationships. But here's where it gets wild. Diddy's legal team is now claiming the video was tampered with. Can you believe the audacity? They're saying it was digitally altered to make everything look worse. The sequence, the speed, the intensity, all of it supposedly manipulated for shock value. They're even claiming the original tape was destroyed. This is not an accurate representation of what transpired. Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, told reporters with a straight face, "We have reason to believe this footage has been manipulated for sensationalism, and we intend to prove that in court."
A U.S. judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male workers across state lines to take part in recorded performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence.
The scene in that courtroom was absolutely surreal. On one side sat Diddy, a man who was once worshipped for his business genius and cultural influence, now fighting just to salvage what's left of his reputation against this absolute tsunami of accusations. On the other side was this growing chorus of voices demanding accountability, each new allegation making the picture of his private life seem darker and darker. And hanging over everything was the big question about that video. Will it be allowed as evidence? Could it be the smoking gun that sways the jury? These questions had everyone in that courtroom on edge. From the legal experts to the spectators, all of them wondering what bombshell might drop next in this unbelievable saga.
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the SHU have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there,
You have to give it to Diddy. Despite this absolute mountain of legal trouble, he somehow managed to keep his composure in court. At one point, he leaned over to whisper something to his attorneys, shaking his head in what looked like pure frustration. When the judge asked if he understood the charges, he answered with this firm, clear, "Yes, I do, sir." But don't let that calm facade fool you. Sources close to him reveal he's struggling big time with life behind bars. Being denied bail 3 times has only made everything worse, with prosecutors arguing they're worried about witness tampering if he gets out. Can you imagine going from mansions and private jets to a prison cell? The fall is just staggering.
Some people do think that Diddy can help him, but this guy's going to be locked up forever. His case will probably take at least 3 years to litigate. He'll stay at MDC. There's rumors that he wants to go to Essex County Jail in New Jersey because he doesn't like MDC. He's a Marshals inmate. There's no way they're going to transfer him back and forth, I don't know, several times a week.
But here's what's absolutely wild. Even as he's fighting allegations that could send him away for decades, Diddy still has moments of that famous confidence that made him an icon. During the hearing, he occasionally glanced toward his family, giving them these reassuring nods as if to say, "Don't worry, I've got this," even as his whole world seems to be crashing down around him. For his loyal supporters, it was a glimpse of the resilience that propelled him to the top. For his critics, just more proof of the arrogance they believe caused his downfall. As the hearing wrapped up, the judge dropped the bombshell that jury selection will start in early May, with opening statements later that month. This is going to be one of the most watched trials in years.
Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
The public is absolutely obsessed with every detail of this case. Social media is exploding with hot takes, memes, and heated debates about all the allegations. Some people are rallying behind Cassie and the other accusers, praising their bravery for speaking out. Others are questioning the timing and motives, suggesting Diddy is being unfairly targeted because of his wealth and influence. The reactions show just how deeply this case has tapped into bigger conversations about power, accountability, and justice. This isn't just celebrity gossip anymore. It's become a cultural flashpoint that has everyone taking sides.
This is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in the jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
In a world absolutely saturated with celebrity scandals, Diddy's legal saga stands apart, not just because of the shocking details, but because of the massive questions it raises about fame and responsibility. As that trial date gets closer, one thing is crystal clear. This story is far from over. With each new development, the stakes just keep getting higher and the spotlight on Diddy burns hotter than ever. The tension around his legal troubles just went into overdrive as even more accusations started piling up, each one more jaw-dropping than the last. While everyone was still reeling from the surveillance footage drama, another bombshell dropped that has everyone stunned. These new claims aren't just about his personal relationships anymore. They're reaching into the very foundation of his business empire, suggesting a culture of control and fear throughout his entire organization. Even people who followed his career for decades couldn't believe what they were hearing.
It's a question of that, but when you read through the indictment, it's pretty clear who could be indicted as a co-conspirator. Right now, there are people in the indictment who would be considered unnamed co-conspirators, but clearly have played a role in this conspiracy. And I think prosecutors have some big leverage on them because they're hoping that they testify against Diddy as prosecution.
These fresh allegations are explosive. They're talking about serious exploitation within Diddy's professional world. Court documents describe employees enduring absolutely brutal working conditions, endless hours, barely any rest, and constant intimidation. Prosecutors are saying this wasn't just a few isolated incidents, but part of a systematic pattern designed to maintain iron-fisted control and silence anyone who might speak out.
I believe that it opens yourself up to some negligence claims. Again, I don't know if Jay-Z is going to go that far, but certainly I think it does open himself up to some negligence claims. Maybe that was part of the reason why he dismissed with prejudice. I don't know.
A former associate of Diddy came forward anonymously with an absolutely chilling perspective on working with the mogul. They described their experience as both inspiring and deeply unsettling. There was no denying his genius, they admitted. But there was also no denying the fear. You didn't want to make a mistake around him, not because it was a bad look, but because you didn't know how he'd react. It was like walking on eggshells every single day. This is a man who has built an empire, Agnifilo declared. People are taking advantage of the moment to rewrite history and tarnish his legacy. He argued that many claims lack credible evidence and are just being used as weapons to manipulate public opinion against his client.
Filed by a man from California who claims Sean Combs raped him in 2009.
Public opinion is absolutely spiraling out of control, and the media is having an absolute field day with all of this. Headlines are screaming about every new revelation, social media is flooded with hot takes, and it seems like the court of public opinion is reaching its verdict long before the actual trial even begins. Hashtags related to the case have been trending for days, with people firmly divided between Team Diddy and those calling for his downfall. Some see the allegations as part of a larger cultural reckoning, while others view them as a calculated campaign to bring down a powerful figure. The debate is raging everywhere you look.
She walked away, got no money, got nothing. Over. And Jay-Z celebrated that, the fact that, we should say, and it was filed by the lawyer who has filed a slew of lawsuits.
The controversy around that surveillance footage is only making the chaos even worse. While Diddy's team keeps insisting the video was altered, critics are asking why he hasn't addressed the incident more directly. His apology after the footage went viral left people with more questions than answers. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I was disgusted then. I'm disgusted now, Diddy said in his video statement. But people are asking, if he's admitting fault for what happened, what does that mean for all the other allegations swirling around him? Cassie Ventura's legal team, led by Douglas Wigdor, is going all in on using the video as key evidence. The video speaks for itself, Wigdor stated firmly. It's a disturbing reminder of the power dynamics at play and the courage it takes for victims to come forward. He completely dismissed claims of video tampering as desperate attempts to avoid accountability. This isn't about editing or sequencing, Wigdor insisted. This is about the truth. As tensions reach fever pitch, the courtroom drama is spilling over into broader cultural conversations. The case has become a lightning rod for debates about power, privilege, and accountability in the entertainment industry. Workplace reform advocates are using the allegations to push for stronger protections for employees, especially in industries with such extreme power imbalances. Meanwhile, Diddy's defenders point to the lack of criminal charges for some claims, arguing the whole case is being blown completely out of proportion.
It could be a disagreement regarding defense strategy. It could be a conflict. It could be a health issue. It really could be anything. And the paperwork doesn't identify it, nor should it. And the fact that Mark Agnifilo is still on the case and the other counsel of record leads me to believe that the judge is going to rubber stamp this motion anyway.
Behind the scenes, both legal teams are gearing up for what's sure to be an explosive trial. Prosecutors are hinting they have even more evidence waiting to be revealed, including testimonies from people who haven't come forward publicly yet. Diddy's defense team is reportedly preparing to bring in a parade of character witnesses, including former employees willing to testify about his generosity and leadership. Agnifilo recently told reporters that Diddy is a man who has given back to his community time and time again, and is not the monster people were trying to make him out to be. But even as the legal battle heats up, the personal toll on Diddy is becoming painfully obvious. Sources close to him describe him as deeply shaken by the allegations and relentless media scrutiny. He's trying to stay strong for his family, but this is taking a huge toll on him. He feels like the world is turning against him. Despite his attempts to project confidence in public, those who know him best say the cracks in his facade are starting to show.
Obviously, there's other lawyers on the case. Obviously, a lot of the victims are female. They're going to want female lawyers on the defense team, especially during some of the aggressive cross-examination. That tends to be the conventional wisdom when you're dealing with victims who are alleged victims of assault or abuse. And then it could be a conflict with one of the victims themselves. Maybe Agnifilo, maybe Rico consulted with them or even represented.
Meanwhile, Cassie's camp remains absolutely resolute in their position. For her, this isn't just about getting justice for herself. It's about shining a light on much bigger issues at play. As the trial date approaches, the stakes couldn't possibly be higher for Diddy. The outcome will determine not just his legal future, but his entire legacy. For Cassie and the other accusers, it's finally a chance to have their voices truly heard. And for the public, it's forcing a serious reckoning about power and justice in the entertainment world. The question everyone is asking, who will the jury believe?
I think it has to be the defense, the consent, because look, sometimes you can argue that the activity never happened, right? You know, it wasn't me, defense. But this is not your typical assault case. There are a lot of people there, right? There are people that are arranging the workers. There are people that are setting up lights and cameras, booking hotel rooms. Obviously, Diddy has a large entourage.
While the courtroom battles might be happening in one place, their impact is being felt everywhere. From corporate boardrooms to heated social media debates, this case has sparked conversations that go way beyond just the allegations themselves. It's touching on universal themes of power, privilege, and accountability that resonate deeply in today's world, where the line between public and private life is increasingly blurred. As the trial of Sean Diddy Combs continues to unfold, the questions just keep multiplying. Do you believe the surveillance footage was altered, or is it showing exactly what really happened? How do you think these explosive workplace exploitation allegations will impact the trial's outcome? Share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going. I want to hear what you think about all of this. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this absolutely wild developing story. Until next time, stay tuned. Stay tuned.